welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and I'm the Nerdy Cat Mom, and today we're talking about Comic-Con. So I went to Emerald City Comic Con this year and it was amazing, and I realized that other than Rose City Comic Con and EUCON, I didn't know of any Oregon Comic Cons or conventions, and I was like, there has to be just more than two. So I went online and I created a list. You can find the blog post in my description below, but I thought I would tell you about a couple of them, so if you were in the area, you could see what they were like. Okay, let's do like closest to farthest away. So the first one is, and I'm counting, you know, fan cons, anime conventions, you know, nerdy plus Japanese, that sort of thing, both in the same category. But I'm not including the furry conventions because I only found one. It just wasn't, it didn't seem as legit as some of the other ones that I had on here. So, just a disclaimer. Okay, so the first one is HaruCon, and it is a pretty small con. It's in its third year. It focuses on anime, and it's hosted at the Portland Community College Southeast campus. Great thing is that this one's free to the public, and it offers cosplay contests, panels, exhibits, and a reading and media room. And it's also a fundraiser for the OHSU Dornbecker Children's Hospital. So any money they make toward that, I think a portion of it goes to that. So that's HaruCon. So the next one after that is actually in the same week as HaruCon, is the Meadowlark Comic Con at the Ramada Inn in Medford. So Medford and Portland are on the opposite ends of my state. So Portland is north toward Washington, Medford is south toward California, and it's about 3 hours from Eugene. So it's kind of far. So it's a pretty new con. It's also in its second year. It has some nice guests like Jill Gerard, Felix Stila, Alan Palmer, and Raja Barudi. I'm assuming a lot of those are either comic or voice actors. This con is a pop culture convention and is a one-day event, but has programming that includes cosplay contests, workshop panels, meet and greets, a vendor hall, and video game free play, which I thought was pretty cool. The next one is ani-medford, which is still in Medford, at the Ramada Inn. The Ramada Inn has a lot of things going on in Medford. And it's on August 17th. And it focuses on Japanese pop culture, specifically anime, manga, and tokusatsu, which I don't know if I said that right. It has video game activities, panels, vendors, and guests such as Morgan Perry, Bran April, and Eddie Frierson. This one is also in its like second or third year. It's pretty new. Okay, now we're going back to Portland for the Geekcraft Expo, June 22nd through the 23rd at the Oregon Convention Center. So this one's pretty big. And it's a craft expo where exhibitors, I can't speak today. This event is a craft expo where exhibitors who create nerdy and fandom-inspired crafts come and celebrate their craft. There are some great YouTube videos out there. I will link them in the description below. They're also listed on my blog. I love craft fairs like this because people have such great takes on the fandoms. It's just really fun. Okay. So the next one after that is Portland IndieCon, and this is their very first year. And this is a different sort of event. So most of these other events, kind of like Geekcraft Expo and other Comic Cons, will have exhibitors who are artists that do their own artist renderings of current fandoms like Harry Potter, Doctor Who, and whatnot, but they're not licensed. And so Portland IndieCon is a locally self-produced con that focuses on self-published, small press, comics, and games. So there's no mainstream TV guests and allows no exhibitors to produce unlicensed merchandise. So all the stuff that you're going to see at Portland IndieCon is going to be their own idea, their own work. It's probably going to be very interesting because you're not going to see any, replications of current mainstream fandoms, which sounds really interesting to me. So that's Portland IndieCon. So the next one after Portland IndieCon is the big one, Rose City Comic Con in Portland. It is 3 days long, September 13th through the 15th. And it is the premier event. So this one is huge. It's held at the Oregon Convention Center. I've never gone, but I kind of want to go this year. They have really big guests. So this year, the celebrities include Will Wheaton, Tim Curry, Bonnie Wright, and Lou Ferrigno, just as the early signups. Sometimes you'll get artists and guests to come in later. When I was at Emerald City Comic Con, I didn't know that, what is his name now? That's just not fair. Rupert Grint. I didn't realize that Rupert Grint was actually coming until maybe a month before Comic-Con. And by that time I was always like, I was just so frustrated. Anyway, so those are just the early guests that are going to be there. They have panels, they have exhibits, they have everything. It's Rose City Comic Con. So it's the biggest one in Oregon. So, and there's some good YouTube videos that I'll link down below about Rose City Comic Con as well. So the next one on the books is KumoriCon in November, the 15th through the 17th. It's also in Portland at the Oregon Convention Center. So it's also a big one. They have events that focus on anime, cosplay, fan panels, and karaoke, which I think is hilarious. Since it's a Japanese pop culture con, you have to have karaoke. If you don't have karaoke, what are you doing? Really, what are you doing? And it has guests such as David Wald, Lucci Christensen, and Brina Palencia of My Hero Academia. And they had some really great pictures on their website. There was a presenter that was dressed as Tuxedo Mask that I was like, yes, that's amazing. So the last one, and I saved it for last because number one, I've been, and number two, I don't know what their dates are going to be, is Eugene Comic Con or EUCON. And it's usually held in November. Last year it was November 10th and 11th, but their website's not been updated with their dates for this year yet. I'm assuming they're going to happen. And it's kind of like just a smaller version of Rose City Comic Con, just in a smaller venue. Because last year they had some guest panels, they had some meet and greets, they have exhibitors. The good thing about EUCON that maybe I didn't see as much of with Emerald City or Geek Girl Con, and maybe it's just because of their location, is that they had outside behind the event center, they had food trucks. So if you didn't want to eat what was inside, which was just basically like convention snacks, you could go outside to the food trucks. And they had Vietnamese, they had like grilled cheese sandwich food trucks. The food trucks in Eugene they blow it out of the water. They're amazing. I had some noodles from Da Nang, which is a Vietnamese truck that is actually located like 4 blocks from my work, so I go there frequently. And they were really good. But there were some great exhibitors. They even had what was that thing that they had? Okay, so last year I had to go onto their website because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to remember. Last year EUCON had Simone Missick, they had Keith Tucker, they had Comic Book Men. Oh, and then the big thing that they had last year was Bruce Campbell doing Last Fan Standing. he wasn't doing any meet and greets, but he was doing this like game show sort of thing. So that was really cool. And then they had different festival things. They had Artist Alley. They had Booker T, which was pretty cool. And then they really do a good job, especially for Eugene being, you know, kind of, it's a bigger city in my state, but it's just a smaller town compared to any of the big cities in California or even Washington. Eugene is pretty small. So for being kind of a smaller town, they did a really good job getting people to come in. Last year was only their 4th year, so hopefully this year they'll have some bigger names, but they're doing a pretty decent job, and I'm kind of excited to see what they bring to the table this year. So what events do you think you'll be going to? I really wish that I could have made it to Medford Comic Con, because that actually was this weekend, but there was just no way because I have concerts all weekend, so I couldn't have gone. It would be really nice to go to Meadowlark, but it kind of sandwiched in between. My schedule doesn't really allow for it, but my personal wants this year out of the Oregon cons are Rose City Comic Con, because I just have never been to the bigger con in my state. I think that would be really fun. Also, Komori Con sounds really fun. And I think that one of the other ones that I would want to go to would be ani-medford, just because they seem, even though they seem small, they seem to have some interesting things going on. So if you live in Oregon, what cons do you like to go to? Did you learn about any new conventions in this video? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, don't forget to give it that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so that you know when I post more nerdy content, and hit that bell notification so that you know when I post it. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye!